Hi, I'm Michael Smith for Nevada Trails. Today I have a very special show. I have Bethany Drysdale of the Department of Tourism, Nevada Department of Tourism, and tonight we're going to talk about Fire and Ice.
Yeah, the White Pine Fire and Ice Show out in Ely. It's in the eastern part of the state. If you take Highway 50 all the way across the state, it's about a 5-hour drive from here in Carson City. A beautiful drive. It's probably one of my favorite road trips to take throughout the state, along the old Pony Express route. So this festival is in January. It's Martin Luther King Jr. weekend.
Well, that sounds good. That's a long weekend.
It is a long weekend, so make a whole road trip out of it. The actual festival is Saturday and Sunday, and it's crazy.
Crazy?
It's crazy.
Then I have to go.
Yes, exactly. We all of us Nevadans need to partake in something a little crazy. It's an ice sculpture competition. So for 2 days, artists from all over come to this spot, and they expect about 1,000 people to show up this year. It's Cave Lake State Park, and there's actually a lake there. It's a very popular fishing lake. There's a lot of other activities to do as well. But in the winter, it's great for ice fishing. The whole lake freezes over, and people build giant ice sculptures on this lake.
Well, I lived in Plymouth, Michigan, one of the world's best ice sculpture attractions until the weather kind of changed a little bit.
Yeah.
And but there people were coming in from Japan. The ice sculpture people are very, very serious, and they had these mini chainsaws.
Yeah.
So it's really cool to get there early and watch them create things like these giant ships, and the detail is just fantastic. I don't know how big they're allowed to go, but if you let a nice sculpture guy or girl do this, they'll go as big as they want.
Yeah, some of these are huge, life size. You'll see some of the pictures rotating. A huge SpongeBob SquarePants.
All right, I love that show.
Yeah, I do too, actually. It's one cartoon I let my daughter watch when I'm in the room.
There's always a good moral to the story.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Last year's winner was, I believe it was first place winner, was a sculpture of a prospector examining a gold nugget. The detail is just amazing. It started with one guy that went out, this was in 2003, he went out to Cave Lake State Park and carved a giant trout in the snow and in the ice. And so many people came by looking at it, like, what is this crazy thing in the middle of this lake in the middle of nowhere? It got so much attention that the park manager decided, hey, we're onto something. Let's make a whole event out of this.
Well, I like that, because that's how a simple idea would come up. Did I see prize money in this?
Yes.
Prize money?
Yes, prize money.
I thought I saw it.
Show me the money.
So when you come, if you're an artist, you can actually make some, did I say $1,500 or something?
The first prize is $1,000.
$1,000?
Second prize is $500, and third prize is $250.
So it's $1,750.
Yes,
$1,750
total.
So that's not bad.
It's not bad, and for fun. It's all for fun, and then to win a prize with it. Why not? But it's not just for the sculptors. Spectators come out, and it's just a party. It's insane. The White Pine Brewing Company brews a special beer for just for this event. Like you want cold beer in sub-zero temperatures.
Well, yeah, I always like cold beer in sub-zero temperatures. Yeah. That's in Michigan we call it ice fishing, shanty-wise, but yeah, this is still fun.
It's still fun. But there's a special beer, the Ghost Train in Ely. I don't know if you're familiar with the Ghost Train.
No.
It's the old steam train that used to supply supplies to the mines out in Ely. And then after a while, they added passenger cars. It went defunct after a while, but now it's back. And it's been back actually for many years. But it's a passenger train, and they call it the Ghost Train because it's an old steam engine, and you see the puffs of steam go up from the mountains as it's puffing away.
Well, in January, I bet it's really puffing away.
Oh, it's beautiful. So they're running some special excursion trains during this event. They will be lighting off fireworks from the back of the train on Saturday night.
Well, I love fireworks.
It's incredible to see fireworks in sub-freezing temperatures. The air is so clear and so crisp that the colors are just amazing. You see fireworks in July. This is a totally different experience. And then the fireworks that shine and reflect off of the snow make just this really eerie, awesome glow throughout the whole area. And the booms and the crashes of fireworks reverberate off the canyon walls, and it's a sight and sound to behold.
Well, that sounds perfect. When is this event again?
This is January 16th and 17th.
And if I needed to get tickets, how would I do it, or reservations, or who do I call, or?
You could go to The Cave Lake website, just Google Cave Lake State Park.
Cave Lake.
The website address is long because it's a park's website and then the designation for the state park. So Google Cave Lake State Park. Or you can email cavelake@mwpower.net to get information. There's forms to sign up if you want to be a sculptor. There's information on where to go, where to stay. It does sell out. Ely is not.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
town.
It sounds like since you see the show, you better get on the air right away because you're not going to be able to go. Or you can go, but you can just
You can go, but
won't be able
you'll be
to,
ice camping.
Well, you might be just doing a day trip.
Yeah. Ely does have limited hotel rooms, so go early. But have you ever been to Ely?
No, I have not.
It's really a cool little town. There's a hotel there called the Hotel Nevada, and I believe we've talked about this in previous
Yes,
shows.
we've talked about it before on the loneliest road in America. Yeah.
It's really a neat old hotel. It was the tallest west of the Mississippi, I believe. It has a really great link to old Hollywood from the 20s and 30s.
Oh, that's right. The hotel where stars would kind of wait before they went to Idaho or something.
Yeah, on their way up to Sun Valley, Idaho, they would stop here. And so it has some great old history to it. And it's really kind of the epicenter of quirky and weird stuff in eastern Nevada. I love staying there. That's my favorite hotel. It doesn't have all the amenities of some other hotels, but just the personality. It's by far my favorite hotel to stay out there. They have warning signs in all the rooms. Beware of the showers because the hot and cold water comes and goes as it wishes. And it's such a juxtaposition because you've got pipes and water that doesn't necessarily work and flat screen plasma TVs.
I love it. Well, I live in an
strange.
1890s hotel right now, the Adavin in Gardnerville, and it can be a challenge.
Yeah, it can be. Those old hotels.
But it's worth it, though, because you have the different style of architecture, and you just feel comfortable. I just like that better.
Yeah. This is just like you walk in and you just kind of feel like, you won't stand out. You can go in your snow boots and big heavy jacket, and you don't feel like you have to dress up. You can just fit in with, whoever you are, you fit in.
Well, a big heavy jacket in January is probably
it's a good thing.
recommended.
Yeah,
Is
good
it
point.
windy there, or do you need to get the extra stuff on, or?
It's not windy, but it's cold. It is very cold, so you want to definitely bundle up. There's not a lot of places to warm up once you're out at Cave Lake, so if you stick around for the entire event, you're going to need to be prepared. But it's only about 15 miles from Ely, so you can go back into town and warm up as much as you like. But once you're actually out there, there's so much to do. You don't necessarily want to leave. I have 2 friends that went to this last year, and they just said it's a party. It's crazy. They have an ice bowling lane where
Ice bowling.
Ice bowling.
I love ice bowling.
I've never heard of ice bowling
I
until
invented
this. You invented it.
I was really bored one day.
I would believe it because I had never heard of it until this. But it really is, it's crazy. They've got this ice bowling. They have a 1 putting green hole.
Golf tournament.
Golf tournament.
Well, you got to go to the golf tournament then. You should practice.
Yes. Golf on ice. Why not? You can do anything
No,
else on
I was
ice.
reading through your notes. I said something about a cannon that goes off.
Yes, they have an old historic war cannon, and don't ask me what war because I don't know. But we do have a photo of it that'll appear. Their goal is to set it off as many times as possible. So as you're sitting there, drinking your White Pine Brewery beer, be careful because you may just jump and pour it all over you.
Well, I used to go to these Civil War reenactments in Virginia, and they're loud.
They are loud.
And so you might, when you first get there, check out where the cannon might be located at.
Yeah.
But it's got to be beautiful with that hot, because the cannon will have this big smoke anyways.
Yeah.
So with it being in the cold, it'd be really beautiful, I would think.
Yeah, the explosion of fire out the end it's really beautiful, and it's just something weird that they decided it'd be fun to light off a cannon. So
Well,
why not?
if you have a cannon, you might as well see how much time you can blow it up in 3 days.
Well, exactly. We're not going to have war out in the middle of Ely, so might as well pretend.
Might be the only time that you're allowed to do it.
Yeah. So yeah, they've got all this weird stuff going on during the event, but then also, the ice fishing that happens there.
Well, like I was saying, they have ice shanties and things like that. You can.
No, it's out on the ice. There's no shelter.
You don't know how to. Okay, well, you can dig a hole and.
Dig a hole and try to stay warm. I've only done ice fishing like that once, and it was. I think that's why you drink the beer, why they provide beer to
Well,
keep you nice and warm.
Actually, that's when you bring other things
Yeah,
too.
yeah, the hot chocolate, spiked hot chocolate.
No, ice fishing is, my technique for ice fishing is you have 2 holes. And then if you catch a fish on the one hole, you leave the fish attached to your line while you're fishing the other hole. The fish will will be attracted to the other fish in pain. It sends out signals like a feeding frenzy.
Yeah.
And you'll have somebody fish on the ice, you'll be like, thank you, Michael.
I'm going to try that. I didn't know
It always
that.
works.
Interesting. No, the one time I went was just outside of Reno at Prosser Lake and caught a huge brown trout. I mean, this thing had to be that long. It was
Wow.
great. Or at least that's how I remember it. Maybe it was only that big, but
Well,
I swear it was like that.
Mine are always like this too.
It's really a great time. And, you know, I hear a lot of people say, oh, you can only ice fish in Wisconsin or, you know, Michigan. But you can do it here in Nevada, even though it's
Well,
desert.
of course you can. All you need is just ice and
Frozen
fish.
lake. But, you know, people don't realize that desert does freeze. You know, it gets cold in the winter.
Well, yeah, it's a good winter wonderland.
It is.
It's one of the most beautiful areas I've ever been because you have the mountains in the distance with the snow on them. It's just absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
For just the drive's got to be awesome.
The drive is beautiful. Something that a lot of people don't know is that Nevada is the most mountainous state in the nation.
Yeah.
So everywhere you go, there's snow-covered mountains. Any time of year, it seems like there's snow on the mountains. And
Yeah,
there's so
exactly.
high
Almost
elevation.
year-round. Yeah.
Our high elevation, there's always mountains to climb, you know, any recreation that you want to do up the mountains. So yeah, out at Cave Lake, there's great scenery. I don't recommend going on too long of a hike because you don't want to get lost out there in, you know, 30-degree
Well, right now, if you don't know the area and you're not prepared, maybe snowshoeing.
Snowshoeing's
But
great.
go with a guide because you don't know if you're new to the area.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, it is a state park out there, so there are rangers. There's some infrastructure, but you've got to be careful when you're going
Yeah.
out there.
Well, study it first.
Yeah. Check out the park's website. I believe it's parks.nv.gov. And that has a whole map of all the parks in the area and places to go and stay.
Well, it sounds like if you get a hold of the festival guideline or the agenda, you're going to be busy.
Oh yeah, there's too much to do in just those 2 days. But that's why, you know, a 3-day weekend is so nice. You can go to this Fire and Ice show during those 2 days and then spend Monday just taking your time getting back home and sightseeing. There's so much to do along the way. We'll talk about that a little bit later.
Well, I absolutely love the ice carving. Like I said, it was one of the most fun things I ever did in my life as a young person in Plymouth, Michigan, because you just can't believe how pretty these sculptures can turn out. Because you polish the ice, and it's just absolutely awesome. It's worth going just for that.
It is. The detail that they have. There was one last year that looked like a treasure chest with actual pearl necklace coming out of it. I mean,
right.
Just the detail is amazing. And you never know who you might see. Last year, Governor Gibbons went out there. So you never know who's going to be out there just exploring and checking out an event like this.
Well, yeah, if you got any stress in your life, that's a good place to go.
Oh, yeah. The cannon going off and everything.
Yeah, a few, cold beers.
Yeah. That always helps me.
Well, once you get out there and the fire, and there's probably be a lot of things to heat you up a little bit too, I would imagine.
Yeah, there's plenty of food, drinks. Like, as I said, so being so close to Ely, there's the train there. There's Ward charcoal ovens.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. You're not going to be.
There's so much to do.
And if you're a hardy trooper like I am, you have the Burlington Remington coat. I just got one. It's good for like 20 below zero, so I'm ready.
Yeah.
I'm ready to go.
Yes, get your boots, your hat, your coat, and you're set.
Well, right now we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about fire and ice and why you should go. Thank you very much.
If erosion from my land goes into the lake, it won't be the gem, the wonderful thing that it is now.
Everybody is making a contribution to the decline in water quality unless they actually use best management practices.
I feel privileged to be able to live here, and this way we will all contribute to the clarity of the lake.
My name is Christina Keegan, and I'm Miss Nevada. Every 2 minutes, another American is sexually assaulted. The attack may last just moments, but the effects can last a lifetime. I would know. 4 years ago, I was sexually assaulted. But there is hope. If you or someone you know has been sexually assaulted, you are not alone. Help is just a phone call away through the National Sexual Assault Hotline at the number on your screen. You can join the fight against sexual violence by volunteering in your community. Log on to rain.org to learn how.
Hi, we're back with Bethany Drysdale of the Nevada Department of Tourism. Well, Ely is a very, I've heard a lot of nice things about Ely. Curtis Fong is one of the people coming to do bike tours for us, or talk about bike tours. And he absolutely has very, very kind things to say about Ely, too. So it sounds like you're both on the same pages. That's the place to end up.
It is. It's the headquarters for everything going on out there.
And it sounds like you said it gets a little bit cold, so you might want to stop at some of our finer sporting good areas and bring those little hand warmers you can get.
Yeah.
And good socks, and just be prepared. And like I said, I got my new coat at the Burlington Coat Factory, so I'm ready. I can go. But I know what it's like to have improper gloves. So get the thick stuff, but you get those warmers and you're fine.
Those warmers are great, and you can get those for your shoes too.
Yeah.
I've seen those. So
Yeah, special socks too.
Yeah.
So it sounds like that you might want to get the extra stuff because you don't want to leave the fireworks.
No, you don't want to leave. If you have to leave, then okay, but you really want to stay out there as long as possible. And the sun sets so early, and that's when they do the fireworks. So it's not like you're staying late into the night. I believe the fireworks go off about 6:30 or so.
Well, you mentioned the fireworks, but I didn't know what day you're talking about.
They're actually doing it both Saturday and Sunday.
Saturday and Sunday?
Saturday, they're doing fireworks from the train and out at the state park, and then Sunday out at the state park.
So when they say fire, they're not kidding.
Yeah, they're not kidding. There's a reason they call it fire and ice.
Well, that's a lot of money. So that's good.
It is, and I'm not sure how they raise all the money for this, and that's a whole other area that I don't get into. But
well, my little town of Pleasant Lake, when people saw fireworks so good, we used to have 45-minute shows. So we beat the town of Jackson, and people would donate right on the spot. They said, "This is worth it."
Yeah.
And I would see that it's probably the same thing.
Yeah, it's definitely worth it. And I think there's an entry fee, so that probably helps cover some of the cost. But the park ranger out there, Steve Gray, is the one who decided, let's really make something of this. So he's the one that runs it. He's with the Park Service.
So Steve Gray is the one to contact for some of the stuff.
Yeah, if you go to the park website, you can look up his name. And his work has really paid off. The state parks, working on this too, has paid off. The American Bus Association has named this one of their top 100 events in the entire North American continent.
Well, that's excellent.
It is, and they've named it that the last 3 years, I believe. The American Bus Association is the organization that oversees bus tours, motor coach tours. People come from all over the world and hop on these big touring buses and go to events like this. So to be named one of the top 100 events in all of North America is huge for this.
Well, you have to be quite organized. I have an old friend who has 3 buses for tourism in Michigan, and he got to the point now where he'd go to events and they weren't organized, and so he wouldn't say he owned the bus line. He would just say he's the driver.
Oh, yeah.
Because they vent against the person driving the bus. So the North American Bus Association says they're pretty good. They got to be pretty good.
Yeah, these are experts. These are pros. They know what they're doing, and they don't just name any old event. They don't recommend any old event. This has to be something good, and to be recommended year after year is really big kudos for Fire and Ice. So it's a great, because it's a motor coach tour bus organization. They've designated it as a place where big groups can go or just individuals. It's really made for everyone.
Well, we talked about a hotel in Nevada, but I was going through my notes and I saw you have a couple other big ones too.
Yeah.
Was it Best Western?
Best Western, there's
was there
Ramada.
Ramada, and there was some Motel 6?
There's Motel 6. There's another one called the Bristlecone Motel and the Main Motel. Yeah, and I don't mean to sound like Hotel Nevada is the only place to stay.
Oh, no,
There's
but
a lot to stay.
When I heard about Ely, I remember both you and Curtis were saying Hotel Nevada is the place to stay.
Yeah.
But it sounds like they have other rooms as well.
There's the big name brands. Ramada. Ramada's actually a really great hotel there. The way it's set up, the swimming pool is in the middle of the casino. It's very strange. But only strange would fit in Ely, so it works. But there's the Ramada, Motel 6, as we mentioned. And they're all really reasonable rates. I know I've stayed at Ramada where I think it was like $45 a night or something.
Well, for a weekend trip, that's nothing.
It's nothing, and it's a way to get out and do something different and something fun without having to, plan a huge itinerary, spend a lot of money, spend a lot of time. This is a 5-hour trip from Carson City.
Well, a lot of our shows together are basically a lot of these day trips or short weekend trips, and we're not spending a lot of money at all.
Right.
And can we backtrack to the ice part again?
Yeah.
I didn't understand how many display people or how many cutters they usually have. Do you know? Or
I don't know. In looking at photos from last year, it looked like there were probably about 15 sculptures. As the event grows, that number will grow, I'm sure.
well, 15 is a lot actually because they're bringing in some pretty serious people from around the world.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's worth going right there because that's a good number. Because I know from Plymouth, you have some smaller people learning from the big people, and the big ones will knock your socks off.
Yeah, I've seen some of them where you can't imagine they can do that in 2 days.
Yeah.
It's just amazing. And the detail, we've talked about the detail, but I'm really amazed by the detail they put into it and just the ingenuity. There was one called the Cave Lake Spa, and it's just a big bathtub. Another one called Shark Bait, and it shows a guy swimming away from a shark fin in the lake. It's just the creativity is wonderful.
Well, if you ever see Groundhog Day with Bill Murray, he did a nice sculpture, and that's exactly what you're going to see.
Yeah.
Only big ones. And it's exciting, yeah. Well, just watching the carving to me is worth it. So you throw in the beer and the fireworks, that's just a plus.
And the bowling.
The bowling, but the cannon thing, it just sounds like that's a job everyone's probably vying for. What?
That's the job I want, to go deaf next to a cannon.
Well, the kids will love that.
Yeah, there's, well, as I said, with the bus tours and families, there really is something for everybody. And, we talk about beer, but it's not, a 21 and over event. You can bring kids. There's enough to see and do. And, get kids out, get them out into the state park system. We've got, I believe, 24 state parks in all of Nevada. And there's something to see at every time of year in all the state parks. So get them out and show them what their state is made of.
Well, yeah, kids' first time ice fishing is awesome. My little niece went to her first perch.
Yeah.
It's like, oh.
Whoops.
Sorry about that, but that was just, for kids. And it is a lot of fun. So you got ice fishing for the kids, you got cannons blowing up, you got ice sculptures, probably a lot of other things we're not even talking about. The normal tourist things there anyways.
Yeah.
So it sounds like a pretty darn good thing.
Yeah, it's one of the more interesting events out there. And, nearby is Ward Charcoal Ovens, and I mentioned this briefly earlier, but, if you get tired of just watching ice sculptures, I can't imagine that, but if you do, you can go out to the Ward Charcoal Ovens. There are these huge smelters, basically, where they burned charcoal to, I guess, melt down the gold ore. I'm not entirely, or copper ore.
Well, that's the ovens you're talking about?
Yeah.
Oh, I did when you were talking about little park ones.
Oh, no. These are huge.
So you could be really warm fast.
Yeah. No, these are huge old ovens from the mining days. And, this is also about 45 minutes from Great Basin National Park. So if you really want to really make a good weekend trip out of it, go check out Great Basin National Park. There's Lehman Caves where you go deep down into the earth, into these caves, these giant stalagmites and stalactites, and really some interesting stuff to see.
I think I've seen their brochures all over the place.
Yeah.
I didn't know that where they were, though.
That's about an hour from Ely, 45 minutes from Cave Lake. And it's a national park, but it's one of the least visited national parks in the whole U.S. And I guess that's good and bad. It's good because when you go out there, you really feel like you're seeing something special. You don't have a ton of other tourists to contend with. But we want more and more people to get out there and see them. So.
Well, I had a kind of a crazy thought the other day when I was thinking about this show is if there is a decline in tourism in our state, we should take advantage of it and see our own state. Mm-hmm. Because sometimes I know locals shy away from the tourist events. Well, now we can go.
Yeah.
And this is one fire and ice sounds like if other people outside the state aren't going, let's take advantage of it and have some fun.
Yeah.
Get rid of some of our stress, a little party and fire and ice.
Everybody needs it, especially after the holidays,
Oh, yeah. This is January 16th and 17th, right?
Yes, 16th and 17th, 3-day weekend. We're all thinking Christmas and New Year's and just get through to, maybe President's Day. Maybe by next Easter we'll all learn to calm down and slow down. This is a really great way to just get away for a couple days and see the state, do something unusual. You get back to class, what did you do over the 3-day weekend? I saw fireworks and ice sculptures.
That's definitely, if you're a senior in college, you better make it good before you get out there. Yeah. Well, that's actually a good point. It's not a bad weekend for a little getaway from college weekend.
College and work too. Monday morning, get back in time for, actually this would be a Tuesday, get back in time for a staff meeting and, people are talking about, I cleaned house, I went to a movie. To be able to say I went way out in eastern Nevada and saw something that, half the people you come across will never even have heard of. And get to tell them
Well,
about
again,
it.
one of my favorite things is just the drive, because you see the mountains or the snow in the distance, and you're in nature. It's absolutely beautiful.
The sagebrush, and actually the sagebrush covered in snow is really an incredible sight. You just see the sea of snow. As we mentioned, the mountains. There's a lot of cool historic places along the way, along Highway 50. You could easily make a trip just out of driving Highway 50 there and back, but please stay. And
Well, is the shoe tree covered with ice right now?
yes, shoe tree covered with ice, and the
What's
pogo
that?
nip.
That's what I'm saying. Is that it's pogo shoes now?
Yeah, pogo shoes. Yeah.
I like it.
I think
Well,
you
actually,
coined the term.
my mom called and she said, "Why didn't you take me in some of these things?" I said, "Well, how long have you been watching the show?" Well, she just figured out how to use the internet.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, well, sorry about that, Mom. I thought you wanted to relax there. She said, "No, I wanted to see Nevada."
It's hard to relax when there's so much to do. So,
Well, I got her to take 50 home
good.
because we've done a number of shows out between you and Curtis, and they said it was absolutely beautiful. Like, didn't we do it while we could have gone in for a weekend and come back to the Ridge, and they left, and I wasn't even with them. And they said, "Well, thank you for sending us that way, but
Yeah.
we could have stayed longer." They were, they just drove through. So,
Yeah.
don't lose your time. Spend it.
Yeah, there's so much to do. Even going out as far as Fallon, take Highway 50 to Fallon, and that alone is a great day trip.
Yeah.
So, if you really want to be adventurous, make a whole week out of it. Stay a night in Fallon, stay a night in Austin, Eureka, Ely, do the weekend in Ely, and then come back. There's actually a small airport in Ely, and you can fly. They do small, I think, a couple times a week flights down to Las Vegas. So, hey, you could see the whole state.
Well, if you have a plane, so you could take your plane to Ely and fly there. I didn't know that either.
So they actually have a charter airline that does
They have
flights.
a charter airline
Yeah.
in Ely?
Yeah, in Ely. So
Sounds
it
like
does
Ely's
flights
pretty
down to Las Vegas.
progressive.
It's moving on up. I believe there's an airline that does flights to Salt Lake too. So there's ways to get around out there that you don't have to be stuck to your car. Although I love road trips, so
Well, I like
it's worth it.
just a new experience, and it sounds like the Fire and Ice might be that new experience.
Yeah, I hope you do get out to it. It's I would like to go this year. It's my daughter's birthday, so if I can convince my family that we'll have a birthday party in 0-degree weather.
Well, we're
maybe
down
we
to
will.
about a minute and 45 seconds. Can
Sure.
you give out any websites or any contact numbers again?
Absolutely. Let me just look at my notes here. You can contact Steve Gray. He's with the Cave Lake State Park. His phone number, you can reach him at 800-496-9350. You can Google Cave Lake State Park. You can go to parks.nv.gov and then look for Cave Lake, and all that information is right there.
Well, you certainly have to memorize a lot of stuff.
Well, that's why I've got notes. I cheat.
When I took over the show, I said, we're not doing it anymore. We're going to have Keith display it for me because I can't memorize all those letters, but you do a fantastic job. And we'll post that on the screen for you so you can write it down. Get your pen and paper right now. And did you say something about your daughter's birthday?
Yeah, her birthday is on January 16th, so it's her third birthday. I have to do a party.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
That's awesome. You do so much hard work and you have a family. It's just, you're definitely a credit to the Department of Tourism.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Well, my mom's chewing me out for not taking her on these trips. So the message is getting across, and that's the main thing. And I hope you come on the show and get to Fire and Ice and let us know how you liked it. And if you liked it, we'll pass on the word to actually future generations, as it were. And at this point, I'm going to say goodbye and thank you for being on the show.
Thank you very much. It's a
And-
lot of fun.
Go to Ely, January 16th and 17th for Fire and Ice. It's been Michael Smith for Nevada Trails. Thank you.